Hello, lifeforms. It is I, Bonzai, and I'm returning once more to the land of Oros for a little bit more Far Cry Primal. Now, last night I finished the campaign, and tonight I'm just gonna be doing a couple of missions for Oogie, or whatever his name is, basically Herc's ancestor, and I'm going to be sharing my final thoughts on the game with you. This video is made almost exclusively for YouTube, so if you don't want to watch, I understand.
Uta takar shwadan sustugistar dagwa ulkaikaida winjara bandar squarpeti yekwa sanguar na mas urusuman nu magis guardians wanan yaudan takar jauhar.
Well, if you wanted to know what Takara looks like, you just saw it. The first time I saw that, telling about how to make strong and weak attacks with your melee weapons. Where do I begin? Okay, Far Cry Primal is... It was an interesting concept. I like the fact that they went this far back in history to do a new Far Cry game, and the Far Cry series has always been a big thing for me. Urki.
Ash Urki Udam Pash, Urki Udam Malmalsha.
Got something in your belly there, pal.
Oh, long time! Long time!
It's totally Herc. Oh. Oh!
Budakwala, Urki, Sawhata.
Tikauti udam guarui, mal mashta, nashashwebal.
Oh, man. Nashash Wabao. Yeah, Nashash Wabao. Urki Shashwa County Dowsa. Ushash Urki Yihuana. Ushash Urki Yihuana. Shash County Dahamas. Hafu Pausong Waru Shanchi.
Okay. I always enjoyed the Herc missions from the previous Far Cry games. Anyway, though I thought Takar was one of the more interesting characters. He was definitely a more interesting character to play than RJ Ghali from Far Cry 4. The story with which you played him through just didn't seem very well fleshed out. It seemed like it was almost rushed, because unlike previous Far Cry games, there wasn't a multi-tier ending. For example, there was a grand total of 6 different endings that you could have had in Far Cry 4, depending on which member of the Golden Path that you united with, whether you let the other one live or not, and whether you let Pagan Men end or not. This one, the ending for Primal was very streamlined, and it was a disappointment because there's not multiple endings, and that really hurts the gameplay. Replay value for this reason mainly is extremely low. I love Far Cry, and it's one of my favorite series, but this one was a huge disappointment. Also, like, whoa, excuse me. the Far Cry games have always been extremely difficult. Well, as far as stealth gameplay is concerned, but all in all, this one was much easier. You can see why, because previous Far Cry Primals, it was really hard to take some of the outposts, but in Far Cry Primal, outpost taking is extremely easy because, well, your animal friends make it so to where you become so overpowered that it's not even funny anymore. I mean, I normally don't complain about a situation being OP, but this was an extreme exception because, well, there wasn't a whole lot of variety to it. I mean, you could take outposts so easily in this game, it's not even funny anymore. I mean, it's almost meme-worthy. There's the owl, and then there's your animal companions, and just this combination of things that just made it exceptionally easy to beat the game. And let's see, hold on. Can I save my animal companion? Yes, I can. You see how easy this is? It's so simple, it's almost meme-worthy. That's another thing that really hurts the game. Also, weapon variety is not very high either. I mean, I like the fact that you have multiple types of each weapon, bar the spear, but they all have different utilities to them. But all in all, the weapons just weren't that appealing. Some of the high points, however, was exploration. I mean, I love the exploration part of Far Cry Primal. Doing things like using the grappling hook and finding new and exotic locales and things like that was just... Oh, okay. Sure, I'll take it. It was a ton of fun because I love games that require exploration. Another thing that I didn't like was the problem with the over here was the missions. Certain missions had different. Certain missions would give you a skill point, so you would want to do them and not others. For example, I've already done all the help Winja missions and all the hunting missions and things like that that required skill points. I mean, required you to do them to get skill points. But there are quite a few well, there were quite a few missions that were left over that didn't give you a skill point, but still were there. They were still optional, is what I'm saying. Sadly, they didn't give you any incentive to do them, and you didn't feel like you were... Oh, hello. I guess I was right. They didn't give you any particular reason to actually want to do them, you know? And before I go, I'm going to set this camp on fire because the Azila are still dicks, and I hate them. That's probably good enough. So, you have this weird combination of need to and not need to do missions. and it really took away from the experience, if you ask me. I was hoping that there was a couple of trophies that would require you to do all missions, but sadly it wasn't there. You saw that in previous Far Cry games, so you really felt like it was an obligation of yours to actually complete all the side missions in order to complete the game. Speaking of exploration and completion, there are also a grand total of, I think, 183 different findable objects, and that still adds on to the need to explore the game, explore the map. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry about that. My dog had to pee, so I just let her out. Anyway, this greatly encourages you to want to explore, but because there is an XP cap, that might turn some players off of the excuse me, of wanting to collect all the things, and that was another pet peeve of mine. So it's a really weird collection of ideas that Bethesda put, I mean, not Bethesda, Ubisoft, excuse me, Ubisoft put into making these games. Alright, let's see what you got, Erky. Okay.
Urki shesh kauti daha. Urki shesh kauti daha. Urki imena. Urki imena.
I can't wait to see this.
Uguama. Uguama budakwala. Shesh kauti warshu. Bow bow.
Uh-huh.
Urki waru yaha. Urki jamsha.
Oh! I'm gonna drop him. I'm gonna drop him off this cliff because I am an asshole. Okay. Oh yeah. Down here. I will drop him down here. So, like I was saying, there's a wide array of things that you do and do not want to do. You may or may not want to do in the game. And this random collection of happenings is also another thing that I don't like, because you can add on to the population of your village, but at the end of the game it just seems unnecessary to me. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I guess I'm just waiting for the next Urki mission, if there is going to be any more Urki missions. Boom. There, Winja event completed, but there's no sense of accomplishment because I've already reached the villager population cap, and there's no more XP required to get. And that is really weird, considering the fact that his mouth isn't moving. Alright, I'm going to fast travel and see if there's another Urki mission that pops up. Maybe. Hopefully. Guess not. I thought there'd be more of them than that. Also, I don't like the way that... Oh, here they are. These are the missions I was talking about. These missions are no longer required to do, and that is a dirty shame. Because I was hoping that there will be some kind of completionist trophy for completing them all, but now that I've gotten this far in the game, I don't want to do them anymore. And I'm sure a lot of players were like that themselves. But what am I trying to say? Though it was fun while it lasted, the game was definitely a lot of fun. It also had its funny moments, like the one you just saw, and drop it, jobber. In the end, it wasn't enough to give the game more replay value. Even the... Shut up. You see how OP you become? I just killed a saber-toothed tiger with a single throw. Even as good as the game was, its replay value was extremely low because in-game activity was just almost non-existent, while in other Far Cry games it was fairly high, actually. So this, in my opinion, was just a dirty shame, and I was hoping for more, but I got less. As far as gameplay, I mean, the technology that went into the game is concerned, it was actually fairly impressive. You see these beautiful vistas everywhere you go, from the grasslands to the flats to the swampy areas, and even the frozen tundra in the far north was just absolutely breathtaking. I love the detail that Ubisoft put into this game, and I just loved everything about the game itself from a visual and soundtrack standpoint. The soundtrack was actually very good, very well written, and I was pleased with that. There were some epic music scores that popped up during boss battles, and all in all, it just really kept you interested, and I liked the way they used primitive sounding... They used instruments that were used by primitive man, but they gave them a more modern touch. And that was really cool. It really tied into how you played the game, and gave you a sense of actually being in a prehistoric time period. Even as much as I did enjoy the game, it was ultimately a bomb, and I can understand why so many people just either didn't finish the game or just wrote it off. I wanted to rate this higher because I love Far Cry. I love the Far Cry series, and it's always held a very special place in my heart. Also, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about was how the villains were portrayed. like in many of the Far Cry games, there were two villains. There was Ul of the Udam, which is these guys, and there was Batari of the Izula. Both tribes were very different, very distinct, but they, in the end, weren't all that interesting because they were fighting against each other rather than working with one another, and somehow that actually played against the game's dynamics and just made the story less appealing. I mean, I loved Voss from Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 was my all-time favorite in the Far Cry series. And I don't think there will be a villain that could ever stack up to him. But still, I was hoping that Ubisoft would have at least tried. And sadly, there wasn't a whole lot of effort put forth into it. However, I did like the way the villains were portrayed. Ul was actually a very intimidating villain up until the end, but in the end, you felt sorry for him. I was actually hoping that I could have united the Udam and the Winja together, and maybe we could have found a cure for the skull-burning disease that the Udam were suffering from, but sadly that wasn't the case. In the end, you did wind up killing both Ul and Batari, and Batari just seemed like she was the true evil in the game, but even though she was supposed to be the real bad guy, she just seemed like she was tacked on, very much like the way Hoyt was in Far Cry 3. In the end, when you defeated them both, you didn't feel any real sense of accomplishment. I mean, I thought defeating Ul would make me feel better because Ul was a evil bastard, but in the end you felt sorry for him, and in the end you actually were hoping that he would survive and you could save the Udam from their fate. But again, you couldn't. So you felt detached from the humanity that went into the story, is what I'm trying to say. And that was a dirty shame, it really was. All in all, even though I do love the Far Cry series, I can't say that this was anywhere near Game of the Year material. On a scale of 1 to 10 for the difficulty, it was about a 3. And for me, the game in total, I would have to give it maybe a 6 out of 10 at the best. I wanted to be more generous and give it at least an 8, but all in all, it just wasn't worth rating any higher than a 6. So even though it was a great game, I wouldn't recommend it for any hardcore gamers out there. Anybody who's serious about a major challenge or just wanting a superb playthrough in general just would not enjoy this game. So sadly, this game was rather low, and I can't vote it any higher than a 6. But on the upside of things, oh, this event was actually pretty well hidden. It was right out in the open. I didn't even see it. Oh, sucks to be you. You ran right into my saber-toothed tiger. On an upside, tomorrow night I will start my playthrough of Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and hopefully that'll be a better experience for all of us. I got a grand total of 1 vote for Tomb Raider, and that was the highest rated game in the collection that I was asking for. I think afterwards I'll... What the heck? Come here, you. After Tomb Raider, I'm definitely going to want to do Titanfall. After Tomb Raider, I'm going to be doing Titanfall, and after that, it'll be up to you guys. I'll either play The Evil Within or Witcher 3. I'll let you guys decide in the coming months. Shut up. I was hoping I'd get them to fight. But anyway, thank you for sticking around for my review. My name's Bonzai0311. It's the same as it is on Twitch, YouTube, Steam, and the PlayStation networks. If you enjoyed my final thoughts and you want to see my playthrough of Far Cry Primal for yourself, it's up on YouTube right now. And you can... watch the entire thing. I think it's around 26 episodes. And if you really like Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, join me tomorrow night for Rise of the Tomb Raider. And... what the heck? Thank you. Shut up. Join me for Rise of the Tomb Raider tomorrow night at 6:30 Central Time. And until then, like, link, subscribe, do the whole social thing. And as always, I will see you in the next playthrough. Later.